From Athens, Georgia, this is GovLove, a podcast about local government, brought to you by engaging local government leaders. I'm Mason Zeemering, the kid host for this episode of GovLove. We have a great episode for you today. We're talking about Parks and Recreation services, and that means we're going to talk about kids' sports too. But first, the best way to support GovLove is to become an ELGO member. ELGO is a professional association engaging the brightest minds in local government. Mark your calendars. ELGO's annual conference is this fall, October 13th to 14th in Phoenix, Arizona. Learn more about the conference at elgo.org/ELGO22. Now, let me introduce today's guest, Zach Navin, Parks Supervisor for Waukesha County Parks and Land Use. Zach has a career in local government that includes everything from driving a Zamboni to leading a city public works department. Before working for Waukesha County, he works for several other local governments in Wisconsin, and he has an MPA from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Welcome to GovLove. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Mason.
The podcast's regular listeners know that before we get down to business, we start with the lightning round. Zach, are you ready?
You bet.
When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was a kid, I definitely wanted to be a firefighter. I wanted to be a firefighter even up till college, and that was my first hope and aspirations to give back to the community was to do it through that avenue. That one just didn't turn out for me. At one point, I was a wildland firefighter in college. Turns out all that fire's not for me.
Currently, I want to be a hockey player when I grow up.
Okay, who are you going to mimic your game after?
Ryan McDonough, probably.
You're right. A little bit of a tough guy.
Yes. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mine is a chocolate decadence. As long as there's chocolate on top of the chocolate, I'm in good shape. How about you?
I'm more of a vanilla guy.
Vanilla, all right. Just plain vanilla?
Yeah.
All right, well, you can find that anywhere, so that's always good.
We're going to talk about ice arenas later. On a hot summer day, would you rather spend the day in an ice arena or outside at one of your parks?
I'd rather spend it outside at one of our parks. You know, you only get so many months out of the year to enjoy the parks, and the ice rink you can enjoy year-round, and especially the winters when I'm a little bit more into the ice rink or, into hockey as a whole. And a lot of times in the winter, the ice rink is warmer than it is outside.
Yes. Here it is so hot that sometimes I would probably prefer to be in an ice rink.
Yeah, I could see that down there. It gets pretty warm. You'd rather just hang out in there, and it's better than AC.
Yeah. Finally, there are 32 teams in the NHL, but only one team is the best. We're both Chicago Blackhawks fans. Why are they the best?
So I think they're the best because they're an original six team with some great history. They've got their recent history with Patrick Kane, Duncan Keith, Jonathan Taves, but they've also got some of that older history in Bobby Hull, Tony Esposito, and Jeremy Roenick. So there's just a lot of good history there and a lot of strong teams that have won a lot of cups. They're fun to watch. How did you become a Blackhawks fan?
Well, really, my first time ever watching hockey were Blackhawks games in the living room, and I moved from Illinois, so it's the team.
Okay, there you go.
Now, we can turn to some more serious questions. To start out, why do you think kids should take time to learn about local government?
I think kids and a lot of adults don't understand how much their day-to-day is affected by their local government. Think about the time your alarm clock goes off in the morning, you turn on the light, that's because of your local government. When mom and dad take you to school, you're driving on the roads, that's all due to your local government. But when you turn off the light to go to bed, all the way throughout the day, the shower, everything you take is all involved in your local government, and it's important to know the decisions they're making. And also, learn some good career paths.
Yes.
You can't be a hockey player and work for local government, but there's a lot of good ones.
Yes. With the end of summer and the start of the school year, this is probably a busy time for the county's parks. What's keeping you busy right now?
Right now, what's keeping me busy is hiring for fall help. All the students that worked for us all summer long are going back to school. So now we've got to find people to work throughout the fall because the grass is still growing and the campgrounds are still open and we're still plenty busy. So we've got to make sure that we've got people that keep it operational. And then what keeps me the second busiest right now, believe it or not, is snow. We start planning for snow operations in early August to make sure we're prepared for the first snowfall, which could come as early as the middle of October.
Campgrounds. I love camping. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so we have campgrounds in 4 of our parks. We got up to 32 sites. Some of them are even electric, so you can hang out for a while and bring your larger camper, and you can still have the joys of AC and TV and all that fun stuff. We call those the glampers. They're not so much the rougher. They don't rough it like the tenters, but we do have those in all of our facilities, and they make a great option for those that like to travel at a cheaper price.
I also love camping a lot. We go pretty much every summer.
Okay, what's your favorite part about camping?
Probably campfires at the end and having s'mores.
Yeah, definitely a great part of that.
Yes. In Waukesha County, your website has a lot of information about cool programs for kids. Can you tell us more about how kids can have fun in Waukesha County?
Yeah, of course. Like you had mentioned, we've got camping, which is a blast for the kids and throughout our entire park system. Hiking throughout the parks. All our parks all have swimming ponds that you can swim throughout the summer. We've got trails for biking. You can get on the lake to go boating, fishing. We have a planetarium at one of our facilities, so you can go check out some shows and learn about the stars and the planets and all that fun stuff. The ice rinks, of course, we have open skate. It's a great opportunity for kids to come learn how to skate or just come burn off some energy. In the wintertime, you can get out to the parks and rent snowshoes and trek through the woods that way and see things from a bit of a different perspective. We also have classes where you can learn how to climb trees in a safe and efficient manner with ropes and the whole nine, not just crawling up the tree on your own. We've got the dog park, so you can bring your dog out and let them run around in a nice controlled environment and hang out with other dogs, as well as let them chase you around if that's what you're into. We also have a lot of citizen science where the kids can get involved. You can go out and survey snakes and birds and plants. And you can learn all about that sort of stuff and get hands-on with some of these snakes and bugs and stuff that kids really enjoy. We also have some fun stuff like we have got Scarecrow Lane coming up, so you can build a scarecrow and put it out on the trail. And then as you walk through the trail, you get to see everybody's scarecrow creations, and they stay up until Halloween, which is always kind of neat. And then we've got Science Fest coming up as well, which is all things nature you can learn all kinds of things about the outdoors.
That all sounds very fun. I hear that when you worked for the city of Stevens Point, you drove the Zamboni at an ice arena. That's a dream job for a lot of kids. How did you get that job?
Yeah, that was definitely a dream job for me too, right? I grew up playing hockey, and my first job was I had an office inside the ice rink, and they let me drive the Zamboni. So I thought that was pretty great. I got that job through mutual connections in college. Some of my college roommates were working at the ice rink as seasonal help, and they had let me know that this job was going to open up. They knew I was going to graduate and looking for a job and thought it'd be something I'd be interested in. So I took the initiative to go down to the rink and introduce myself to the rink manager and tell him who I was and what I was looking to get into. And my undergraduate degree was public administration as well, so I kind of had a little bit of that background to get into local government, and they hired me. So then they let me go get my operator's license to drive the Zamboni. You got to go to school for a couple days to learn how to drive it.
Well, that makes sense, because otherwise some people don't even know, how to operate certain other things, so...
Right, yeah, that's an expensive piece of equipment that you don't want to crash.
Yes. I've heard that working for a parks department might be a good summer job when I get older. Does your department hire workers in the summer to help out your parks and programs?
Yes, we do. We hire over 200 seasonals in the summertime. That could be anywhere from 14 years old to 70-some years old. We hire all kinds. You could be doing anything from mowing grass to working in a concession stand, lifeguarding. And if you're really lucky, you might get to drive the Zamboni as well if you get hired in the ice rink.
How can kids learn more about parks and recreations and services in their city or county?
I would recommend that they visit their local parks. A lot of them, they might have offices or kiosks that they can find information on the different amenities provided for their parks and rec departments. Nowadays, kids are on all sorts of social media, so you can definitely find most of them on there with a quick search. And last but not least, ask your parents to sign you up for the classes and activities offered through your local parks and rec department. There's all kinds of fun stuff, whether it's sports activities and or other classes you might be interested in.
I love playing hockey, so I want to ask you a few questions about managing an ice rink. Can you tell me about Waukesha County's ice arenas?
Yeah, we have 2 ice arenas. They are enterprise funds, which means they're operated like a business and not supported by the tax dollars. So the taxpayer doesn't see that as part of their tax bill. It's all supported by the activities that go on in the rink and the cost that you've got to pay to partake in those. And we rent ice from 5 a.m. until midnight almost every day, which consists of anything from youth hockey practice to figure skating to adult hockey to open skate sessions.
What would you say is the most common thing that people rent ice for?
I would say youth hockey, because youth hockey could be anywhere from the 5 and 6 year old rink rats all the way up to the high schoolers. That takes up a lot, and there's not a lot of ice rinks, so everyone's fighting for time and trying to get in when they can to get their practice time in.
A nonprofit organization runs the hockey programs at your ice rinks. How do you work with the local hockey program for a successful season?
Yeah, we're always in communication with these groups to ensure that their organization schedules are planned out in advance, and a lot of them are planned out almost a year in advance, so we want to make sure we've got happy customers and all their schedules are set and their ice times are available so that we can help set these organizations up for success, because when visiting teams come in, we want to make sure that we've got a good looking facility and everything runs smoothly to set a good impression for our visitors.
What's your favorite thing to watch at the ice?
I like watching the adult hockey. You got a wide range. You got some guys that are that played. They might have even played some college hockey or maybe some junior hockey, and then you've got some of the guys that have never played hockey in their life and want to learn when they're in their 40s. So you get to see a full range, and some of them are pretty entertaining.
Do you ever skate there?
I don't skate there. I haven't skated in a couple of years. I keep getting poked by my colleagues to come play with them, but I haven't made it back out there in a while because I'd probably be on the laughing end of those games.
Yes. Hockey programs and other sports around the country are having a hard time keeping referees and officials because sometimes people don't treat them well. Are you having problems with that in Wisconsin? And are you doing anything to help make things better?
Yeah, we definitely have those issues as well, just like everybody else around the country. Our rink staff is very involved with the renters and are always reminding the renters and the both teams or whatever it might be that are playing that the officials are people too. Remind them that they're setting an example for their kids when they're not being so nice to them, and that these people have to go back to their regular life too, right? They're not just referees every day, all day. They don't just like to make bad calls for fun. They're doing their best, and they're trying to give back to their community. So it's always just reminding people that they always have the option to sign up to be a ref too. Then they quiet down pretty quick.
When I play hockey around the South, sometimes I play at city ice rinks, and sometimes I play at private ice rinks. Why should a local government provide ice rinks as a part of their facilities?
Yeah, so I think probably the South is a good example of it, where there's not as much access to ice rinks or learning how to skate. You're not going to have lakes that freeze over in the winter where kids can go learn how to skate and find a pair of cheap skates at Goodwill and just go try it. So having ice rinks that are part of a municipality or a local government of some sort allows everyone to have access to that environment, and we can provide that at a lower cost because we're not trying to make a living off of one ice rink or two ice rinks, like some of these private rinks might be trying to do. We're just trying to keep the lights on and keep everything paid for and up to date, and ensuring that everybody can enjoy that space and have access to it.
It's been fun talking with you about parks and ice arenas. Before we go, what should kids keep in mind when they go to a park or ice rink this week?
Yeah, when kids, something to keep in mind when they're visiting a park or the ice arena, they should treat that facility with kindness and respect to ensure that it's available for the use of all kids now and in the future. Because when kids are out causing trouble, they end up ruining it for everybody. So just remember to be kind and respectful and treat it like you'd want your own home to be treated.
That ends our episode today. Thank you, Zach, for coming on and talking with me. GovLove is brought to you by ELGO, and the best way to support GovLove is to become an ELGO member. You can reach us online at elgo.org/GovLove or on Twitter at GovLovePodcast. Subscribe to GovLove on your favorite podcast app, and if you are already a subscriber, go tell a friend or colleague about this podcast. Please also share this episode with kids that you know. Kids need to know about local government too. Help us spread the word that GovLove is the go-to place for local government stories. Thanks for listening. This has been a kid-hosted episode of GovLove, a podcast about local government.